Hello and a warm welcome to Joy News Today. Sad, disastrous and unfortunate words of the Vice President as he commiserates with the community of Apiatsi following ammonium nitrate explosion that killed 13, injured 45 and misplaced some 179 inhabitants as he assures of government plans to rehabilitate houses destroyed.
That government is going to be responsible fully for all their medical bills and everything else associated with their recovery.
Government has assured it will not shield anyone found culpable for negligence leading to the accident.
It is found that any one of us haven't performed our duties correctly and it's occasioned this kind of loss. I believe that the honorable thing to do is for us to face the ramifications of our action.
We have the very latest plus chilling accounts of first-hand witnesses who saw fire wreak havoc and suffered injuries themselves. Also, Council of Zongo Chiefs warns it will expose politicians and opinion leaders who unduly interfere in police efforts to clamp down on violent gangs fomenting trouble in Nima and Mahamudu.
What we are saying is that we must also know whether you are a chief, you are imam, you are honorable member of an, you don't have a right to interfere with the work of the police.
We have details as the Economic Fighters League charges the police to focus on serving justice to win back public trust. And later in the bulletin, we'll take you to Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly, where the Operation Clean Your Frontage pilot exercise is underway. Well, live on DSTV channel 41, go TV channel 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. My name is Mapito Sibidi. Thanks for choosing us. Sad, disastrous and unfortunate. The words of Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as he commiserates with the people of Apiatsi near Bogoso in the western region following yesterday's explosion that killed 13 and injured 45. At least 179 people have so far been displaced. The incident happened when a truck conveying ammonium nitrate to a mining company collided with a motorcycle and another vehicle close to an electricity transformer. Several houses and structures that have been razed to the ground by the massive explosion that resulted shortly after. We'll hear from the Vice President shortly, but first listen to some eyewitnesses recounting the incident.
The mammy will be shed them because so many for bush lay alcohol. As I'm a bun or so Abu Jinnah Paul or video. The about 21 years of injustice on the way. You come up for the local school. Get a masses. One and then you are something a year, then I find it. And then the baby I dare cut down so I had down for fire. There you are. Old one you are yet in Babu for the way. Nina sent that is through bush one baby near the Wama. Then I wash a fun when I went to a don't wash it. Pay for one more as a my boy, and as I watch sitting here. Matter and Chamizia won't be jack. But was school in Ayabasa, a slow my boy. My boy. From Mahamudu.
What the lady has been saying is that she lost her 21-year-old son when she had to go help a older woman that lives in the house with them. Right now, 4 children have gone to school. The rest of her 4 children have gone to school, and the authorities, she's pleading, should come to her aid because her kids' schools have been burnt. Now let's move on. A government delegation led by Vice President Bawumia is at the site. Others, unfortunately, other victims have also been talking to us.
Moto across now, upper share, China, upper share, China, you talk. Stand all the way in any get the man a dragon head, also down the original. You can't come out, Ojian, or Mr. Managers, a card to get them. I said, very hope you ain't you know, you say, yeah, bomb book I saw to the motor. You tell you, Bram will be at it. The end of the day, I suppose you are a cat. Now, I ever did I thought it. Now, we are going to see the man in the Bible. Yes, I don't know. So, I'm saying, but I would be. And say, light to the crumble in the hand. At the time, I don't know, or Brazil, or the Mahamudu. Maybe I will come with now.
So we just see what into more than that. You pay a kind of place here. Car. We are acting as so we do our come and do our crowd. No, I said, we buy our coffee by meeting. So I'm sure I don't know that the fact that I was meeting
and it's a media canasia. Muhu say Janish and an hour. Into do
very close to your own. When I had the last day, I'm a reaction. You mean, the company at the mine. It's just one way I don't hear.
Crazy. Them na motin one kana mo bahai. The man not pepe. Any day we be asem ni be 7 to 8 ni mu no what the car ba there. Nwa ya de ya show ya de abubu nyina na ye life ni de. Mu abeje a bokoso parish ya da me there. Yemre na yemre me. Nti enyina what the car chi enyina me ya ba mu no. Emi amiri ko se mma mi ni fio, mala mi fio ni nyina gre. Abet kro ni de koduwa. Lento e do da kumpo si wo de. Oye papa e dan so be ponsa. Ne panyina la wa acha. Di e ya hia lo nyeye. Di ya hia o nyeye. Amanfo epebre mi amiri ko se nyampo mi nuampo ebre. Moda ni tirim moda na dwumode nyina ba ya na pe di yankopon adom. Nza moti am dem na moti na mo ban the man not pepe papa te for the ye de mia papa pa ye de mia asama atunye nti ye to sega na ban le omo buanye na ye ble pa papa na we
Midday, Ibn Jawushi, Midday, Superman, we have Captain Mobogoso. And as I'm up here, and I'm a dance or a member. Did I come and say, we were met with Tiana in a station of best effect. Now, I'm on my report to say, I should be so appeared. It took Tiana be a part of Fred.
Those were some survivors, but a government delegation led by the Vice President has been assessing the situation. The team was first briefed on what police investigations have revealed. Here is the District Commander for Bogoso, Gabriel Ansah.
Yesterday, 20th, Detective Corporal Kasim was deployed to escort explosive materials from Takwa to Chirano, Western North region. On reaching this town, PAT, a motor collided with a van coming from the opposite direction. It was the motor that sparked the fire of the van. It took approximately 15 to 20 minutes for the first explosion to occur, by which time the community folks were all rushing to take a look at the accident, against all advice for them to move. There was a lot of disaster and casualties. Initially, the first responders to the team were the community people and those traveling by. With the help of the tricycle motors, that's the travias, they were able to convey a lot of them. And then the Ghana Ambulance Service also came in. As we speak now, they were sent to 3 hospitals and clinics in Bogoso. That is Asida Specialist Hospital, Christia Health Center, and then Inner City Clinic. Some were also referred to Takwa Government Hospital. We have in total 179 casualties, 13 deaths, and 45 referrals. Among the referrals, 3 have been sent to Confanoche Hospital. Thank you very much.
So just to be clear, because the press is covering, you have 179 persons affected.
Affected, yes, sir. Affected, sir. Yeah. Yes. And then 13 dead. 13 dead. And then 45 referrals to Takwa Government Hospital and 3 to Confanoche Hospital.
Fire service. ACFO Ohimi, Regional Commander, Western North.
Sir, I'm ACFO Freddy Mohimi, the Regional Commander. We received the stress call at 12:19 hours. We received a call, that is at the watchroom of Christia Fire Station. The call came from a radio presenter at Trinity FM, Bogoso. 12:20 hours, our appliance was dispatched. The regional control room at Takradi was informed. At 13:05 hours, the first appliance arrived here. And whilst en route, they informed the Future Gold Resources Limited, located between Bogoso and Christia Road, which is a mining company. They have a fire engine. They were called upon and they also came as a prompt. Then the regional control room dispatched 2 appliances. First, they dispatched the Wasekropon fast tender, then followed by Tapa Fire Station fire tender. So they came in this succession. The first appliance got here 13:05 hours, the second one 13:15 hours, the third one 13:30 hours, and the last one 13:49 hours. When our men got here, that is the first appliance got here, they saw that all the houses here had been razed down and there was pandemonium. People had scattered. So they started their rescue activity. Then we realized that some houses had been engulfed with fire. So we started tackling the fire in those houses. In all, we had about 31 houses. Then the next thing was we discovered that there was fire in affecting an ECG's transformer here. So that one also was tackled. Then we realized there were bushes also affected over here, to the other side, down here, and then the bushes around this basic school. So they were all fought. It took our men, the firefighting was undertaken throughout from the time they got here up to 17:05 hours when the fire was brought under control and finally extinguished at 17:22 hours. Eyewitness account that was given because at the time the first plans got here, the vehicle carrying the chemical had exploded. So what account that was given was that this vehicle was moving from Tapa. It was carrying ammonium nitrate fuel oil, 10 tons, that was being carried. So as it got here, I think a motorbike had an accident, it had fallen off the street. He decided to avoid it, but unfortunately, he rather ran over the vehicle, the motorbike, and then there were sparks. Pardon me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we aided in rescuing 57 people. In fact, we had information after the count that 17 had passed on. Most of those who survived also were taken to 3 facilities in Bogoso and Tapa. Areas affected, that is ECG transformer, bushes around, and 31 houses. Time search and rescue began 10 hours. Then we completed at 18:45 hours. We rescued 5 people from the debris. The challenges encountered, the nature of road from Prestia to Bogoso particularly. It was very bad. That delayed our response time. It took us 45 minutes to get here. So I think that is one.
The Vice President then visited those injured from the incident. He assured government will foot their medical bills.
The people who were injured, and we have visited with a few of them, and we want to thank the nurses and doctors in this hospital. Elizabeth Abaka, the administrator and the one in charge, really, of the hospital. They've done a fantastic job in saving lives, and their early intervention yesterday has helped a lot. We want to assure all of those patients who are in there and their families that government is going to be responsible fully for all their medical bills and everything else associated with their recovery. So everything else we let government know and we will take care. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Well, government has responded to their plea. Vice President Bawumia donated some relief items to them.
This is the moment where you are seeing a major collaboration, a major effort by government and the agencies of government is also seeing ordinary people help so much in this relief. And today I want to also give thanks to the Catholic Church, the Reverend Father here, who we are seeing providing accommodation to the people who have been displaced. God richly bless them. We really thank them for their support. And we will do everything that we are able to do to provide relief to all the displaced, to make sure all the sick are taken care of because the government and to make sure that the families of those who have passed are not left alone. So we thank you very, very much. And we are presenting all of these things to the people through the municipal chief executive who will make sure that they are distributed, including a sum of 200,000 CDs to take care of their initial needs. Thank you very much.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Maxwell Abu Jinnah Paul, says the outcome of investigations to be conducted by the Minerals Commission will be implemented to the letter. He spoke on the Super Morning Show.
The regulatory mandate are a bit diverse. There's a bit of it under the police, a bit of it under the Minerals Commission. But I think it's early days yet. Any further comment I make beyond the fact that investigations or preliminary investigations are being conducted, and when the facts are assembled, the government will take the necessary steps. Will be prejudicial. I mean, if I was to say, for instance, that the rules were not adhered to, or that they were adhered to, that would be totally prejudicial. So I think at this stage, we all will have to be a little more patient and then allow the police, the fire service, and the Minerals Commission to conduct these initial investigations. And I believe in a matter of days, not weeks, we will be able to come to a firm conclusion as to what happened.
As we speak, are there actually more explosives being transported, hopefully safely, to other mines across the country?
When it comes to large-scale mining operations, the use of explosives is very integral, especially underground mining. And so the question as to how pervasive or how widespread it is, it will be as widespread as we have large-scale mining operations. But I'm not too sure that the use of explosives for mining per se ought to be the issue. It is how they are transported, how they are handled, and the general regulatory framework within which such explosives are used. And that is exactly the reason for the investigation.
Now, I'm wondering if that investigation reveals that any of the blame can be laid on the doorstep of regulatory failure, what action will you and your ministry take?
Let's wait for the outcome of the investigation. But if, like you say, if we turn out that way, people have to answer for their commissions and omissions. A big if.
Okay.
I think it's that straightforward. Because all of us have our respective responsibilities and duties to perform. And if at any stage it is found that any one of us haven't performed our duties correctly and it's occasioned this kind of loss, I believe that the honorable thing to do is for us to face the ramifications of our actions.
Communications Director of the Channel Mines, Kwabena Owusu Ampretrum, has commiserated with the people and announced the company's resolve to support efforts to provide relief.
Yes, Chirano Mines, and you understand that the National Disaster Management Organization, they are best positioned to deal with this disaster. So we are going to support them. And of course, processes have already begun to support them with relief items and other things that they need to be able to take care of the injured and also to be able to handle the deceased and console the families of the deceased. And there's a full support from our outfit to all the agencies that are dealing with it to make sure that the people that are involved are amicably well taken care of. We've been briefed and we've already started internal investigations and we have all the details. But as you will agree with me, we are working on that information, and at the right time, we'll come out with what we believe. For now, we will not be able to divulge that information. The information that we can put out there is what the police has put out there. For our internal investigations and our dealings with Maxim, I believe that this, we cannot put it out right now for, of course, other corporate responsibility reasons. But then it will not be right that we haven't been talking with them. As we speak right now, we are still engaging with Maxim, we are still engaging with all the other regulatory authorities to make sure that things are settled. So yes, we are in talks with them and we will brief the media and other stakeholders on the information that will come out later.
Let's take you to the grounds. My colleague Maxwell Agbua joins us live. Maxwell, I understand that an entire community has been razed down. Give us details. Maxwell, can you hear me? Maxwell, if you're still on the line, I understand that an entire community has been razed down. Can you please give me details? Maxwell Agbua. All right, we also know that my colleague Inathala Kwanzaa was there and brought us this short report.
Where you see me standing is Apiate. This is the community which has been in the news for the past 48 hours. Behind me is the main road from Bogoso to Asenkregwa and then to the Western North region in Ghana. This is the particular intersection where, according to police, the motor rider veered off the road and then crossed to this particular side and then started igniting fire. And over here is where the van which was carrying the explosive was. And so this is where the van also exploded, and then the flames started catching up with the community over there. I understand that a part of the van which was carrying the explosive veered off and then went to hit the extension over there. So that is an electricity extension. As you can see, the whole community is lost. There is nothing you can see. You can see that most of the buildings here are made of mud, big structures, the roofs are all loose. There is nothing here. No one can even say or point to a particular house which is there. So at this moment, we are here and we've been speaking to some of the residents. The Western Regional Minister, Dr. Kwabena Okyere-Darko, has been here. He has assured that every resident who has lost his or her property will get it back. He said government is putting out accurate measures to make sure that the displaced victims are well established back again. Reporting for Joy News, I am Inathala Kwanzaa, Apiate.
You're still watching Joy News today. A recap of that story. We know that 13 have died, 45 injured, 179 people have been displaced so far. We also know that Vice President Bawumia has given out some relief items, and there will be an investigation to take place to find out what was the cause of that explosion. Let's go to Nima now, where the Council of Zongo Chiefs in Ayawaso is warning it will expose all politicians and opinion leaders who unduly interfere in efforts by the police to clamp down on violent gangs who fomenting trouble in Nima and Mamobi. According to the council, some influential people within the community have been intervening to prevent the arrest and detention of some of the gang members. They say this is a major factor that is fueling the continuous issues of gangsterism in the area. Alhaji Moro Baba Isa is chairman of the Ayawaso Council of Zongo Chiefs.
In the past, the police have been showing concern about the attitude and behavior of some community leaders, chiefs, imams, ulamas, opinion leaders, political parties, including their work. They are interfering with their work. But I don't think any serious police officer will allow himself or herself to be influenced by anybody because there's a code of ethics which guides his work. I quote, it could be an excuse, no excuse, to say that this big man or that being has hindered me from working. Where is your code of ethics? The code of ethics must prevail. It is not an excuse. The committee will never take that as an excuse to say that because of interference of the leadership, and that is why we are not. Mr. Chairman, the law will deal with people who interfere with the work of the police officer or officers. What we are saying is that we must also know whether you are a chief, you are imam, you are honorable member of an, you don't have a right to interfere with the work of the police.
More than 10 persons have been issued summons in the Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly for flouting sanitation regulations. The surroundings were littered with refuse and gutters were left choked. As part of the pilot program of Operation Clean Your Frontage, MCE for the Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly, Sandra Owusu Ahenkora, is leading a team of sanitation officers to caution and educate residents in the assembly. Michael Ashali is there for us.
West Assembly. Yeah, Operation Clean Your Frontage. What is that? Say no de mate. Na mate a wa mo hwe ade. Aya amuyi. Ene de mo anyi. We nkyere se amuyi. Wo de mo mra. Da bi. Ene sisi ade be sesa be ye de bia. Se mo pese mo kwaso ton aduane wa ha de a. We enye kura. Enye internet memo bia ticket se me kasa mo de amu memo bia ticket. Na mo yi mu ene ya. Enye mo mehwe emu acho kisisi a pepa cho mame enkasen wie assembly ye ma mbete gata we mu biom because mo na mo ton ade wa ha mo na thank you mo na mo ye mu fi ye ma mo beton ade na mo nye mu fi na mo se nya ma assembly da bi enti ne ye di Operation Clean Your Frontage na baba cho muntie enti ne ye di we aba no assembly yeah man be clean we mu bio say mu adwuma say wo say mo be ye mu timu enye say yeah ma mo nto ade wa ha ye ni abre pa nti we die enye nti obia empose na ye nkwafa ade na ye ntim Mumra, munkofa fry, obia kofa bimbra, enye. Samon yanswa, na yampa mo obia ni ensese aka me. Minim se mo beye. Aha, enti mo fa mo ne mambra na we de enye. Especially aduane na mo ton. Enye.
Because we pen a surprise to flow. What I say, and flow and the same flow. And we more sober for Quinachi. Mention na me point out and you do me tax station here. So a do you now tia na want to a bomb papa. Nimina Mamushegum. So when na and every first week in the month no exercise no cleaning exercise no. Yet I be 1 week no untumi. And I can't point to one time be me complain on or mo catch me say especially the autumn books no or catch me so or tria and I be me to the upper because you got away when was we and I am man about warning and easy one.
You're still watching Joy News today. Up next is business. And in business, royalties from the quarrying and construction sectors will see some significant boost this year as another source of income for the country. This is an assurance from the Chief Executive of the Minerals Income Investment Fund, Edward Nanaya Kronting, who believes that proceeds from the sector have been woefully inadequate. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Kronting said the Minerals Income Investment Fund will pay critical attention to the sector this year to rake in the desired revenue.
I have a lot of cracks in the, apart from a lot of emphasis is on the gold royalties, but we're looking at minerals. So examples, even granite are actually minerals. We're looking at silver, we're looking at manganese, we're looking at limestone. These are all areas that MEF has to concentrate on. We don't have really much of a problem with the large gold mining producers. I think they are in line with their payments or their royalties, but Ghana is losing a lot from the other minerals. So, for example, if you look at the quarrying sector, royalties that we collected was about 2.8 million. And as you're well aware, quarrying has a direct correlation with construction and with economic development. So looking at you align that with an ASEP report in 2021, which says that even in the worst case scenario, worst case scenario, Ghana should be bringing in about 28 million from the quarry sector alone in terms of royalties, but we're just bringing in 2.8 million. So there's a wide gap. So these are areas that we need to concentrate on.
The Bank of Ghana has maintained its decision to restrict identification for all financial transactions to only Ghana card. This it believes will enhance stability and safety of the entire system. The central bank announced on Wednesday that beginning July this year, the national ID card will be the only form of identification to aid financial transactions. There are fears that this could affect financial inclusion as more persons are yet to get their Ghana card. We have been gauging the reaction of the public.
Since this particular card is the card that is containing everything, I think using it for the financial transactions, it's going to be something that will help. If everything is integrated into one, it means everything each individual is doing is being monitored. On the other hand, it's something that currently is going to bring a little struggle, but with time, we will become normal with it.
I don't think there's any problem with it. But the problem here is about 70% of Ghanaians don't have it. So, in the period they've given is too short. And most people are doing other people's jobs. You're an employee. So how do you leave your job and then go and form a queue? The best thing is to, they say they have offices, but I don't think it is working. People travel from far places, come to Accra for their cards, which is wrong. July is too short, it's too close. What are we rushing for? Ali, we can give ourselves 1 year, that's 12 months, or even 2 years. This is our country.
The massage have been Yabio, but a honor qua, ya show a numa. Yabaka say, Nipa, Nipa 5.
In my view, it to curb fraud in the finance sector and all that, both within the banking, the financial sectors themselves, and people who even do it from outside. But in my view, I think that they should have started with putting together all the identities that we have, like all the identifications that we have, like the NHIS, the voter ID and all that, all should be put into one.
I have applied one, still I haven't gotten it almost a year now. I have my digital address, you can easily make a delivery. If you think you have my, you really capture my data, there's no need for me coming to Chiachi there, come to queue over there. If, for instance, I don't have the card, I can't make it, at least I have relatives who have one, who can do it on my behalf. So if I get it or I don't get it, it wouldn't affect me.
That's it for business. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon. Time now for sports on Joy News today. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, George Freya, has called on government to invest in football if the country wants to compete against the best. Speaking on Cameroon Soccer Fiesta on the Joy Prime channel, the former Black Stars Management Committee chairman decried the lack of support for the game.
2008 till we left power, we came close.
You came close, but you never won.
The African Cup of Nations, I have said that. I even said that maybe under Ketukeku we are going to win it. See, with proper planning, and we continue to plan, one day we'll get it. But if we don't plan well and we embark on what we just did, there's no way we're going to win, because the whole planning and the execution was shambolic.
2015, we made to the final. Unfortunately, we didn't win. You were the management committee chairman of that team. What did you do different? That is from what we've witnessed today. What did you do different in 2015?
Remember, we had then come from the World Cup. the issues of the World Cup. We had met the Jamaica Commission and all that.
Yes.
We then appointed a new coach, and we promised Ghanaians and asked Abraham to go and do well. There was a modest expectation from Ghanaians from us, especially at the backdrop of what has happened in Brazil.
Yes.
So we went in quietly, proper preparation. We did what we have to do, and we were able to. At that time, too, the players were there. I mean, it was almost the same kind of players we had. We had almost all the stats available. We went into the competition with all the arrangement, the planning, and all that put together by the GFA. We made it to the finals. Unfortunately, luck was not on our side, especially when we are taking a 2-goal lead in the penalty shootout. So for me, I continue to say that I believe one day it will happen, but we must always plan well. And then if we are lucky, one day it will happen. But at this time, Muftau, if you ask me, I think that the GFA, what Dr. Nyahu Tamako was saying is actually not out of place. But to say we shouldn't go to the World Cup, that I disagree. We need to spend money to develop football. We are not developing football. You see, we are riding at the back of 4 times African champions. Ghanaians, we are talented. Ghanaians, we are already God-given. We have a God-given talent. Look, football all over the world is being developed. It's the reason why a small country like Commonwealth will be able to beat Ghana.
And the former chairman of the National Sports Authority, Kojo Bonsu, has asked the Ghana Football Association to sack Black Stars coach Milivan Nraivaj and consider appointing a technical director of Liberty Professional, Salas Tete, to lead the senior national team. Love FM Steve Zando has more in this report.
Speaking to Love Sports, the former KMA boss indicated Ghana's preparation towards the Cup of Nations was rather problematic, but insisted Serbian tactician Milivan Nraivaj must be fired for spearheading Ghana's poor show at the tournament, recommending the appointment of Salas Tete, who led Ghana's under-20 team to a World Cup title in 2009.
Our preparation towards the Cup of Nations was totally nil. We wasted money, went to Qatar. The boys were not conditioned. How can you win a match? 88th minute, then you lose the game. So it's all not conditioned. So the team must be well conditioned. And I think we shouldn't make too much noise to bring the team down. What we have to do is, even though we've lost, Rome was not built in a day. We should work on it, sack the coach, I believe in, get a local coach, and I'll recommend somebody like Salas Tete, because he knows all the local boys. He can bring them together, and we should play about 10 friendly matches before our next, because the World Cup is our ultimate. And if you qualify for World Cup, the whole country will be excited.
There have been countless recommendations, and one of them is actually that players who played in the 2014 World Cup and 2015 African Cup of Nations should not be part of the Black Stars anymore. That is a recommendation that has been made by a consultant to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. This is how we wrap up sports here on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News Today. Our seasoned broadcaster Doreen Andor has waded into the conversation regarding more Nigerian music being played on Ghanaian airwaves than the local ones. Speaking to Andy Dusty on Daybreak Hit, Mado said Ghanaian musicians need to work harder in creating more music in order to own the airwaves.
If the song is good and the DJ is playing it, you can't pull him out because he knows that that's what his listeners also enjoy. But that's where we also have to bring in another part of the conversation that says, if we did music that will, go head to head with the Nigerian music, it will get the same airplay.
It's the same.
Really?
It's the same.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you the truth. It is true that we have great music. The young musicians these days in Ghana are doing a lot of hard work, and I take my hat off for each and every one of them because I think they're awesome. Their talent is to die for, and I think they're doing an amazing job. I think the Nigerians have also upped their game because they have done something that we have refused to do. Right. They have come to borrow a lot of our music, and they are making bangers out of them, which is fantastic for them. So it's about time our musicians, though they are good, they got to rise up a little bit more to catch up. It is the truth. And that's where I'll leave it, because if I push it any further, they probably will say that I'm probably just ruffling the feathers too much. But that is the absolute truth. Let's say it as it is. We work hard. We're doing a lot of great music, but we've got to work a little bit harder.
That'll be all for Showbiz here on Joy News today. My name is Becky Maps.
Thank you very much, Becky, and that's how we end Joy News today. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Mapito Sibiri.